Thank you very much.
And then Veronica, here you go.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. This is the President's Council meeting for the month of January. Today is January 26th, and we're starting at 6:35. Let's go over our agenda, Jenny. Thank you so much. So we are doing our welcome. We will now move to the approval of the December meeting minutes. I'll pass it on to our recording secretary, Charlotte.
Hi, thank you so much, Veronica. So just a really quick overview of our meeting that happened on December 15th of 2025. Basically, we went over the minutes, and we were lucky to have two students from IS 25 present soapboxes about data security and home economics. We also had updates from Dr. Michael D'Antona, Civics for All updates, and school events such as the Thanksgiving walk and the math family night. And also academics, just reminders about the diagnostic windows that were for K through 8. Council discussion talked about advocating without conflict. And we talked about strategies in using monthly district presentations, Dr. D'Antona's monthly district presentations as a bridge for conversation. And we also had facilities in capital planning. Eden Rubenstein from CEC 25 came and talked about school projects, specific school projects, and what was included in the SCA 5-year capital plan, and specific school concerns, such as Marina had brought up broken water fountain and lack of temperature control in a school dome. And Dr. D'Antona requested these specific issues be routed through Jenny to follow up the facilities manager. And that ended 7:59. And today's a meeting. So that's just the general overview of the minutes for December. Uh, Approval for those minutes?
Do we have any questions at this moment?
Sorry.
Are there any questions? No questions? If there are no questions, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I have an approval from Annie from Junior High School 185. Thank you. Can we get a second for that motion? And a second, thank you, Rosanna from PS 209.
Thank you. With that, the minutes for the December meeting are approved. Thank you so much, Charlotte. We will now move to the next item on our agenda. It's our superintendent's report. Dr. Mike.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Veronica. Thanks for the intro. Um, okay, have a presentation for you guys tonight just to give you some updates. Next month, we'll do a state of the district type of session. I'll share all of the data. We have about half of our kids completed so far, a little over half. So we have roughly 6 or 7 thousand kids that are have still yet to complete the reading and the math. So by the time we come together again for our next meeting, I'll be able to share the current state of our goals and where we're going to next. But let me share my screen and then, oops, Jenny, could you give me access? I don't know why it didn't log me in under my
Okay.
DOE
Yep.
credentials for some reason.
Let me.
Thanks,
Good.
Jenny.
Okay.
Okay. Folks, as you know, we had a snow scenario that hit us on Sunday night. I don't know about all of you, but I definitely got well over a foot by me. So it was something that was required for us to go remote. Our principals, our teachers, our APs did a really, really nice job of making sure that we were ready to go. We did have some glitchy problems earlier in the morning with some Google Classroom issues and getting error messages. but we did manage to get through that. Myself and the team visited every single school today and popped into as many rooms as we could, just to make sure that everything was going well. We had upwards of 90% of our kids, close to 90% of our kids were present, which is really great. So really, really happy that that our schools were able to get themselves together, organized, and ready to go for our kids. So big shout out to our building leaders, our teachers, our school aides, you name it. They all played a meaningful role today, as well as our parents. We do know that it's difficult. If you are someone that's at home and maybe perhaps you have to do your own work from home scenario, and then to try to manage your own kids, it is not easy. I'm just thankful that my two are a little bit older, so so I didn't really have to deal too much with them today. Just kind of, you guys do what you got to do and leave me alone. So I managed to make it through today as well. But thank you to you guys for supporting us and making sure that the kids got a good day of learning in. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our new Chancellor, Chancellor Samuels, in just a moment. We'll do a connection before content, give you a couple of updates and reminders. I did take out the SLT survey just moments ago. We don't really need to go into that, but I'll talk to you about some planned sessions from our parent survey. Just a quick update around arts funding, and then a few things about Save for College, which I know Jenny's going to talk to you guys about as well, just after I am finished. So really quickly with the getting to know you space, and for a space of connection before to content, and given the fact that we just went through a little snowstorm, are you a fluffy powder person in terms of snow, or do you like that good packing snow? Which one do you lean on more? Ones for the good photos or the ones for the good snowmen? So just take a moment of reflection, and then I'm going to quickly pop you into little groups, if you don't mind. Indulge me just for a few minutes so that we can have a little bit of a quick chat. No longer than just a couple of minutes, if you guys don't mind. So be in that space of reflection, and I will put you guys into very small groups really quickly. Hop in if you don't mind. Again, question whether or not you are a fluffy powder snow person or a packing snow person. Quick little chat, no longer than just a couple of minutes, okay? Okay, let me just set it for 3 minutes. And we are good. I'm going to open up those rooms. What about you, Louis? Fluffy powder or packing snow?
Do I have to pick one? No.
You don't like either?
I guess I'm gonna say fluffy powder because if I have to shovel it, I'd rather it be fluffy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, bad. John's in here by himself.
Hi guys, welcome. I think I saw just a couple of you just pop in. We're just engaging in a quick little connection before content around the snow. Everyone's going to come back in just a minute. Oh, Lewis, pop in with Miss Weintraub. You guys, everyone will be back in about 20 seconds. All right, guys, welcome back. So thoughts, do we like the powdery snow, or are we more of a let's pack that snow and make some snowmen?
I'm moving to Florida.
Lou is not a fan of either option.
Louis, I'll be joining you.
That's it.
Thank you, Michelle. Snowman, rather build a snowman.
I do
Yeah,
vote powdery if I have to shovel it.
yeah, I have to tell you, when I was younger, I would definitely be for the packing snow. As I'm gotten older and I have to be the one that gets out there and does the shoveling, certainly the lighter, fluffier snow, certainly for me, for sure. So there was a question also about SLT. I will definitely address that before I'm done. Okay. Thank you guys for indulging me on that. I appreciate it. Okay, so few things today. Just welcoming our chancellor, Chancellor Kumar Samuels. Really excited for Kumar to be taking the helm and leading us forward in our work to build our schools to the fullest of potentials. I'd also like to just quickly shout out our exiting chancellor, Chancellor Vias Ramos, for all the work that she's done for the city as well. So, big thanks to her, but also big welcome to our new chancellor. So, a few things that our chancellor is really going to be emphasizing: this idea of making sure that we have safe spaces for our kids that are academically rigorous. He's going to continue to sustain his focus on New York City Reads, New York City Solves, and real big push towards MTSS, making sure that our kids are getting what it is that they need. And this idea of truly integrated, responsive to student needs, and being culturally responsive for our kids. So one of the things that the chancellor asked us to really think about and talk more about, which I'm going to over the coming weeks and months that are ahead of us, was really about why. Why are we doing the work that we do, and what's that space of entry point for me as a superintendent. And there are a number of reasons why I push things the way that I push them. And for some of you, you probably wouldn't recognize this in me, but when it came to high school, I don't know that folks would have said that Mike D'Antona was what you would call star student. I did what I could. I did well enough to get by, but at the same time, could have done more. But what struck me about thinking about my high school experience was the fact that I did have some teachers that were very clear on telling me that I wasn't doing what I could, and not in the positive way. Teachers saying things like, "You don't have a serious bone in your body." Those of you who've gotten to know me just a little bit, I think that you would probably say that that man is pretty serious about his work. But that was not the notion that some of the teachers gave. To another teacher who said, I will not name them, although I have them right at the tip of my tongue, that tried to have me removed from her class. Just simply because, she felt that my performance in a previous year wasn't even in her class, wasn't up to her standards. not necessarily what I was capable of. So those types of things remind me of the importance of having belief in kids and belief in what it is that they're capable of doing, which is one of my whys, making sure that we see the best in the kids that we have in front of us. Because it wasn't that I wasn't capable of doing more. It's just at that time, it was not something that was first on my mind as a teenage boy. It just was not. Didn't mean it was right for me at the time. But nonetheless, I didn't have necessarily all of my teachers serving as the backdrop of pushing me forward. I thank goodness that I had folks that built a good self-concept in me, because it didn't bother me, but I know that same type of action would bother a lot of our kids and put them in a space of disbelief and not willing to move forward. So I think about that particular part of my background and why I do what I do. But then I also think about the kids that struggle and some of my relatives who opening up a book in class was the last thing that they wanted to do. Why? Because it was really hard for them. And when things like reading are hard for you, opening a book in front of your classmates and your peers is really, really difficult. And if you don't have folks around you that are going to push you and nurture you and support that, what winds up happening is reading becomes the very last thing on your mind. You become discouraged, and the likelihood of you performing well reduces significantly. So aside from the struggle in the classroom, what struck me about this particular scenario with one of my family members was how quick the adults in the room were looking to have him moved out of his class. Sharing with him, oh, maybe I can bring you on a walk to this new room. Those are not the experiences that we want to have our kids have, which is why you're going to hear me talk a lot about, and have heard me talk a lot about, what does the data say? What's the information we have on our kids so that we can make really good, strong decisions to make sure that they can see what's best for them, and that teachers can think through, how am I organizing myself to best suit Mike's needs, or a child like Mike? So when I think about my why, I just wanted to kind of interject that. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about this over time, but I wanted to give you a little bit of a snapshot of, the reasons why I emphasize what I emphasize as a district leader, that I emphasize with our building leaders, with our assistant principals and our teachers, because we do need to make sure that we are there in that space of encouragement for every single kid that we serve here in District 25. So I just wanted to live in that space just for a moment with you guys. So our newsletter, you guys know about our newsletter. It is there and available for you guys at any time. Big shout out to our team for the All-Star game that we had. Coaches from across our district, so proud of this work. We have every single one of our schools participates in the basketball league, which is fantastic. You see me there in a basketball league All-Star shirt. I did participate against Fennell that you see there from PS20. He did beat me. I'm still recovering from that loss, but it's fine. But that was really, really, really amazing work, and we have our championship games coming up really soon. Queens North Spelling Bee, congratulations to all of our students who participated in District 25. Big shout out to our team members, particularly Melinda Willens, for organizing. This is something that she's very passionate about and puts forward every single year for our district community, and we're really excited about that. We did have 2 third-place winners who are going to be moving on to the citywide competition. So good luck to them, as well as our other participants that, while they didn't place, earned a space in the citywide as well because of their performance during the spelling bee. So big shout out to all of them. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day this past Monday. During our next session, we'll make sure that we have some images and resources that were used across our schools to celebrate Dr. King and all that he has meant to our understanding of what true leadership is about. 3K pre-K, as I always mention to you, I'm going to share a little bit about enrollment. Application window is open and closes on February 27th. So if you do have families that are looking, please make sure you direct them to this resource so that they know what their next steps are. District Math Family Night. This was mentioned during our last President's Council meeting, but we did have it on the 22nd at PS 129. It was really, really a great turnout. Super proud of all of our families and kids for coming together and participating in this event. Thank you to Principal Hewlett for opening her doors, along with the volunteers from PS 129 and the volunteers from outside of PS 129. We had teachers from other schools that came just to volunteer to be part of this event. So we thank all of our community members that were involved and participated. Arts funding, I did mention this to you guys last session. I do want you to be aware that I am in process of organizing family events through Arts Connection. They're going to be doing a series of things that are associated with art itself, perhaps dance and music. More to follow. I will have a full listing of dates for you guys during our next meeting. But I did want to keep it here just so that I didn't forget to remind you that this is forthcoming. We have a number of our schools that are already getting residencies from the dollars that I received. We will make sure that they share out widely too around their experience. So this is something I have a question for all of you. I did ask the CEC this question, and I'm going to ask all of you this question as well. And this very much connects to our chancellor's expectations around MTSS, but also mine as well here in the district. So if I ask you just to take a moment to reflect on, and I'm going to come off of share just for a moment, to reflect on MTSS and identify what it is that you know, what would you say? So just take 1 minute in that space of reflection. What do you already know about MTSS? And then we'll just have a quick little share out. I would put you into breakout rooms, but I know you have others on the agenda, so we won't do that in this case. But if everyone can reflect and either put in the chat what that reflection is, or if you're willing to come off of mute and share, that would be great too. So I'm going to come off of share and give another 30 seconds for reflection. And when you're ready, either in the chat or come off mute, what do we already know about MTSS? And there are no right or wrong answers here for you to be concerned about. You know, all responses are important. So what do we already know? And when you're ready, feel free, come off of mute. Yep, thank you so much. Multi-tiered systems of support in the classroom, being targeted, individual classroom plans, thank you for that. Anyone else say more? Yeah, love that. Different levels of support depending on the child. Yep, small group work is an example of where that can live, and I'll explain that in just a moment. Maybe one more. So for MTSS here in district, there are 3 tiers. Tier 1 is what every single student in the district receives. And this is core instruction using our core instructional material. So if we are in our elementary school grades, we're talking about our foundations, our Hegarty, as well as HMH into reading. If we are talking about middle school, we're talking about into literature. Those are our primary programs that we use inside of the classroom. So for students that what we call kind of in that space of not meeting standards yet, there are additional supports that we ask that our schools put into play to make sure that our kids have access to other materials if they need it. So those other materials here in District 25 include a number of intervention programs. So children that perform in the 20th percentile in District 25 have an opportunity to get additional supports, again, dependent on need. Some of our multilingual learners might perform in that 20% range, but it's not because of a need of intervention as much as it is a need for additional time and access to the curriculum in the classroom, not necessarily to be pulled out for small group instruction. But for our purposes, children that receive intervention through Tier 2 and Tier 3 will get opportunities in a program that most suits their needs. So for children that are at kindergarten, first grade, there is a program called Sound Sensible. Sound Sensible is a program around phonetics, making sure that our kids can hear those words and make sense out of those words. To programs like Spire, which is really more of a phonics-based program for our children that are having a difficult time decoding. So they're getting foundations, but they're still having a hard time being able to look at a word and make sense of what that word is. And then Phonics for Reading, also an elementary school program for children more in grades 3 and up that are still struggling with phonics, but also leading towards comprehension. In the middle school level, we have multiple programs as well. We have a program called Rewards, which is more of a middle school based program. It helps build our kids towards that space of comprehension. We also use Phonics for Reading, as well as a program called Just Words. That's primarily for our multilingual learners, but it's good for anyone as it supports basic foundational skills. So the difference between a Tier 2 and Tier 3 is the Tier 3 is much more intensive, fewer children that are receiving services, so usually a 1 to 3, dependent on the child and the circumstances in the school. But this, I just wanted to give you guys the backdrop because when I ask this question, often I get this space of pause, which tells me we need to offer more training opportunities for our families, which we're going to do, to make sure that everyone is fully aware of what it means, what does it mean for me and my kid. So if there is a concern, that parents know what angle to go to. You know, if you see a child is struggling with a specific part of their reading capacity, then what do I do? What can I ask for? Is the school already offering it and I didn't realize? So those are the things that are really super, super important when we talk about MTSS here in the district. And I just wanted to spend a few minutes just making sure that I revisited that with you here tonight, because you're going to hear me talk about it frequently moving forward this school year. So this is basically what I just called out, the types of programs that we have. Our schools have built-in periods during the week to make sure that our kids have access to small group learning opportunities devoted to the areas of need that I just spoke about. So I have this here for you just for your own resource, that if you have folks that have questions about it, or someone asks you, oh, my child is having a little bit of a hard time in reading, you can share with them, have you talked with the building principal or assistant principal about opportunities through MTSS? And it just creates a nice pathway for you. If someone's looking to you as a parent leader and saying that to you, please know that you have an opportunity to share information and as well guide them towards the principal, who will help them with whatever it is the question is, whatever questions that they may have. So these are the programs, and I gave you a listing here just so that you have them for your own reference and what they do. It's aligned with grade levels and the area of reading that children would be struggling with that this program supports, how frequently that it could be provided. Now, some of the programs, just given the scope of time that our schools have, do have variations of approach that it'll make it fit into the school schedule. But in general, these are the examples that I do want you guys to have so that there is a space of awareness for yourselves. And certainly if you need anyone asks questions, you know where these resources are right on our President's Council page from the district website. So it's here for you as you need, but I do think it's important that you have that space of awareness. And if you have recommendations, say, you know what, Mike, it would be great if you did X, Y, or Z, please make sure you share that, because we're very open to making sure that our families have what they need, including doing additional workshops, which I do plan to put forward in the very near future, because again, when I ask this question, folks get a little bit passive in their response, and usually because of uncertainty. So this is something we're going to continue to grow through as a district. The upcoming events I already shared. just a quick reminder for you guys that they're all available and online. We did just have the math family night, but we do have another math session that's coming up this week on Wednesday. I think
Wednesday.
on Wednesday. So those of you that are interested, I do encourage you to participate in this virtual math session. It will be on multiplication and division, which I know for our kids is really super important. Getting some perspective from our district math lead. So I encourage any of our families to participate in that. We will have a couple of social emotional learning sessions that are also coming up, which is I will share in a future slide. These links that are here are for you as families. They're YouTube links just expressing to our parents what a K-1 Acadience assessment looks like, what a grade 2 Acadience assessment looks like at mid-year. So these links will bring you to learning sessions that were done by our team, giving you guidance around what those sessions are about. You can, because they are archived, you can fast forward them as much as you want, or listen back as much as you want because they are available to you in a recording. So survey feedback, I just want to make sure that everyone sees this. So we did give our survey, as you guys know. I mentioned this in a previous session, but these are the 2 sessions that we've already organized for our parents. We will try to have more of them even after this on a monthly basis based on what our families have spoken to us about. The first one, interestingly enough, one of our CEC student representatives during the meeting was talking about how stressed he was about a math test that was coming up. And this first session is really about parents helping our kids manage those stresses. When we have this high academic focus, sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming for both parents and kids. And during this session with the Child Center of New York, you'll be able to have an opportunity to kind of listen in on strategies to help support you with that. And I think, at certain times we can all probably benefit from listening to some of those strategies to bring us back from a stressful state when it comes to our kids and how they're performing in classrooms. So I encourage you to participate in that. And also another session with Marble Health, just around improving family communication between parents and their children. So there's going to be sample tools and resources that are made available on that evening. So these are the first 2 that we've organized. I'm really excited about them as they were built in response to parent feedback. So please feel free to spread the word. We're going to continue to spread the word ourselves. But when you have your PTA meetings, it would be great if you make this accessible. There are flyers that we will also share more widely. But this is, again, just for your information. CEC collaboration. I just wanted to give, something, pitch something to you guys and for us to think about, when you have your own PTA meetings, and we talked about this briefly last week. But something I brought up this month at our CEC is kind of that so what, now what? So we developed a definition for wellness, kindness, and community. Now it's all right, what are we going to do with those definitions in our schools? And what I thought about, and I encourage you guys to think about in conversation at the school level too, at SLTs or with your principal, this idea of taking these Civics for All soapbox speeches and then turning them into community-wide projects. This is kind of a vision, a forward-thinking vision. It's not necessarily that we're all going to do this right in the moment, but it is a forward-thinking vision for myself to make these stories that our kids have become something that is authentic and come to life. So I'm going to give you a quick example. So we had 2 presenters last month. We had a presenter this month at the latest CEC meeting, and this young man presented on the impact of gateway drugs. And the reason why he spoke about it was because it was a personal account of how he lost his uncle, because his uncle started off using and then began using more addictive and more powerful drug use, was engaged in more powerful drug use, and then it wound up claiming his life. So here I have a middle school student talking to me about the importance of making sure that we have this raised awareness, not only for kids, but for adults. And my thought is, how do we capitalize on something like that to make a real authentic experience so those words become something that makes a real big difference in the community, even if it was a big public service announcement, then it went out widely, the impact that can have for that child, for his parents, but also the community at large, is what's been making me think a lot lately. Would love to get your feedback on that too, in terms of that idea of utilizing some of these really great thoughts by our kids, the passion that they have behind it, and then making a community set of projects around them. Is something that I would really like to do, and at the nascent stages right now, but would love to get feedback from you around making that a reality, because I think it would be a really, really great thing for our community as a whole, parents, students, and schools alike. So I'm wondering what your thoughts on that. I'll come back to this slide in just a moment, give you a space of reflection on it, what you think. And then lastly, something that Jenny's going to talk about is Safe for College. Right now, we're at 41%. My goal was to get to around 50 by the end of the year. So we have a lot of work to do. And the question that I have for you is, what could we as a district leadership team do to raise awareness of New York City Kids Rise? So I have two questions for you that I'd love for you to linger on. It's kind of this: how can we leverage our Civics for All practices, whether or not you think that makes for a good idea? And lastly, around Safe for College, what else can we do that we're not doing to make sure that we get more awareness out there for our families? And then Jenny's going to talk a little bit about what she's been doing to help. But I'm going to close right there, and hopefully you guys can give me some perspectives on these two things: the Civics for All idea, as well as ways that we can do better getting messages out around Safe for College. So I'm going to come off of the shared screen and would love to get some of your perspectives on those things. Anyone have any thoughts about those two ideas? One, certainly around the civics projects, but any thoughts?
I mean, for myself with the civics project, what I think would be, I mean, to follow up on what a child writes, would actually make them feel like they have purpose as to what they're writing, not just an assignment, a paragraph, 2 pages, just a speech, just to present. So to practice what we preach, I guess you can say. So I mean, that's a great idea. As far as ideas with that specific one, I'd have to think about that some more.
Yeah. It was a very dense one. I just gave that as an example because it was like a real life scenario that the child told his story. I hear you. That's a meaty one for sure.
I mean, the only reason why I was able to kind of reflect on that is because my son wrote about their lost and found. How it was like such a disaster. It was literally almost looking like a landfill. So he gave ideas on what to do, like put like hooks on, or like hang it, make it like a museum, or like, Monday's messy sweatshirt or something like that, giving it a name. So that is something that I know that our principal may not necessarily make like a museum of it, but she's actually looking into an idea of what we can do with the lost and found, something like, like that idea, just putting them up so they can see it better. Or, I mean, that was just something simple, but as far as, I mean, it does give them honestly, more of a purpose.
I think all of them have their ability to make an impact in their own way. And, not every project necessarily will be able to be completed. So I think it would be about kids having a voice in which ones we move forward. And we all decide on as a collective group. But again, this is kind of in the beginning stages of what I would like to see it become. It went from researching, writing a speech, to then writing the speech and presenting it at larger meetings, to something that I think we can do even more and make it more meaningful for our kids in schools. So, Rosanna, thank you for that feedback. I appreciate it. Anyone else, any thoughts?
I would like to say something. I think for me is, and as I continue to work through the PTAA, I see a lot of kids coming up with ideas. It's part of the conversation that you and I spoke. It's like, how do we make sure that we help children understand, like, here's an idea, it's fantastic. But if they need a little bit more work, if they need to work on developing that idea, that we give them the space to not put them down and say, okay, this is something else. But it's like, how can we create a process where we can say, we all have great ideas, and ideas can be very meaningful at different levels, macro, meso, micro. This is a path, or like this is a strategy to develop, to like, these are the steps. You go to your student government, you talk to your principal, like we engage them in a process that is civically minded, where they are learning the different layers across their community, across their school. So they understand, if I have an idea, these are the people that I can come, and these are the ways that I can support that idea, or like try to get people to think, that, to encourage them to participate. It builds socialization skills, it builds a sense of community, especially for the children who are new, but it's also allowing a child to feel part of a community and part of a process. And I think that's very meaningful, especially as the children go from lower grades to upper grades to middle school.
Yeah, I love that, Veronica. And I think, you know, we're maybe like year 4 or 5 now with this, and we continue to get better at, making sure that kids have access. And like most things, we can do better, right? It's how do we continue to think about our kids and giving them access to, to make sure that that voice becomes a reality. And I think too, part of it is that, sometimes, within the process, that they will see that there are ideas that don't necessarily come to fruition. It's then, what do we do then, as a student? And I think that's a part that's important, right? What do we do when? And I'll give you an example of something that our kids actually did with the I mentioned to you guys the stop sign scenario. It's about that consistency of, how do I persist through this? Here's something that's really important to our school. How do we persist through these types of scenarios? And it's funny, even the local elected officials that were there, they said, guys, I want to tell you, you're probably not going to hear back from us right away. So you're going to have to make sure that you continue to remind us about why this is important. So I think more to follow on that. I think, making sure that we're building in those lessons is important, so that kids know that there's a space of persistence that we're going to be able to kind of teach them through, so that they know, if I have an idea and it doesn't go through right away, what do I do next? I think that part of it's really important. So thank you for that. Any other thoughts? So I know Jenny is going to be talking to you about the Safer College program. If there are things that you think that I can do, even at your PTA meetings, if there's something that, I can't guarantee that I would be at every one of them. I don't think I can possibly do something like that. But even if it was a message that I can send out to community, just for a space of awareness. It's one thing if parents don't sign up for Safer College. It's another because they're not signing up because they don't know. I want people to at least make the decision for themselves by knowing that it's available. And sometimes even with messages that come out from the district or from the school, sometimes those things get looked at or not looked at and kind of pushed aside, and they don't realize that it is money that goes right into an account for a family. Is upwards of $143,000 right now that the district is not taking advantage of. That's the number of families that haven't participated yet. So that's an awful lot of money to just leave on the table, as parents. And I get there's reasons why, and I don't dispute those reasons why. Any parent doesn't want to do it, they don't want to do it. That's fine. I just want to make sure that they know. That's my biggest thing, that everyone knows that exists and it's available. So Jenny's going to talk a little bit about what we've been doing, just so to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, and any ideas that you have to make it more visible. I'd love to hear, because I want folks to know that it's there, so that they at least know that it's an option. My feeling is, with only 40% doing it, that not everyone knows that it's an option for them.
I don't think it's that they don't know it's an option, because I know many parents, like, we get these emails and messages, and I know our parent coordinator says it in every meeting. I think it's also, I honestly, I genuinely feel like the understanding of it. I don't think I mean, it's okay, a fund, it's a savings, a college fund. It's probably the fear of just something new, or they
Yeah.
just don't get it, or even hearing of a success story, or seeing it is believing it type of thing. They just kind of see it as just kind of another savings, or
Yeah.
so as far as hearing about it and knowing about it, we get a lot of information. I genuinely do feel like many of the families don't understand it. I myself, I'm not 100% sure. And you can define it and give me information till you're blue in the face, but there are many families that just don't. I
Yeah.
mean, it's because I've never done it before. It's new.
Yeah. 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 And listen, if you, after Jenny speaks, if there are things that aren't clear that you say, you know what, this could be even clearer or make me understand it better, please let us know, because I do want everyone to make sure that there's a full awareness of how it could support, moving forward. Again, some will have no interest even after understanding and saying thank you, no thank you, which is fine. But if there needs to be more educating that we need to do just around what this actually means, what does it actually do, then we'll definitely put that forward so that there's a space of awareness. And Jenny's going to talk a little bit about that now too. So I thank you guys for the spaces of feedback. Anything that you have, please amp it forward to me so that we can continue to grow and learn together. So thanks so much, and please continue to brave that cold. I know it's freezing out, and the snow is not great, and I'm hoping that the forecast for the next weekend is not true, because it doesn't look good either. So let's hope that snow stays away from us and we don't have to go through this again. But anyway, everyone have a great night. Oh, question around virtual. Thank you. So state law requires those meetings to be in person. It is not necessarily a choice for us to be able to do that. I do know that folks have been pushing in terms of legislation, but it's not necessarily an option that I can give to a school to say, okay, just go virtual, or for the school to go and say that. It is part of state law.
So there's no, I mean, I understand that, but we did go virtual today. So if our SLT meeting was today, would it have been virtual then?
Yeah, so that is a good question. I will follow up on that if because of the conditions that it could have been switched.
I mean, I understand that that's always the answer. It's just from a parent perspective, and all the parents on this call give, so many hours of our time just in meetings alone.
I get it.
And then to not have any chance for an accommodation to be made when it's a situation like this, that it can make it much easier for everyone to just log on virtually. It just is not come across well to parents that are willing to give their time. And, we're constantly talking about that we struggle with parent involvement and parents wanting to step up and be part of anything, including our, district, PTA, any of the positions, anything like that.
Yeah.
And then when we have an opportunity that we can show parents that, okay, we're going to make this accommodation, especially for all of the parents, like almost every parent on our SLT or involved in PTA are working parents. And, we're constantly being asked of our time and to participate and interact and give our opinions and our feedback and our ideas. And then when we ask for something back, there's no accommodation made. So,
Yeah. No,
when you guys are asking us, what do we need? This is what we need. We need for opportunities to be made for us to say, hey, listen, we really need to pivot to virtual because that's what's going to help everybody this week. We don't ask for it all the time. And I understand you're saying it's state law, but I mean, I'm giving my feedback right now. So
yeah, no, and I appreciate your feedback. The only thing I just hope that is recognizable from my perspective is I can't just give you. It's not something I could just give you permission to do, because it's part of what the law states. I would love to say, okay, yeah, just go remote, but I don't have the ability to do that. But I will most definitely follow up. And given these circumstances, could there be an adjustment made because of that. That I have no problem following up on.
Okay. I mean,
I,
yeah, go ahead.
Then I have a question. Thank you for bringing that up. Like today, our SLT, we were supposed to meet, and since we went remote, our SLT was remote as well. Are we in compliance, or we were supposed to schedule the meeting to another time? Because you know, and it goes back to what we discussed last month, right? There is certain guidance that it comes up, gets conflicted. We're trying as parents, like it was stated, right? We're trying to work, but there seems to be a disconnect and the accommodation piece is missed. So I'm just trying to understand, should we have had the SLT
So
meeting
no,
today remote?
all schools were closed. If the question is, so the next meeting for 129 was Thursday, is that right? You know, schools are not
No,
closed.
our meeting is supposed to be tomorrow night.
Yeah,
So
so it's not on a day where schools, so even if you wanted to go into the building, you would not have been able to do so because all of the buildings were closed today.
I know, so
What,
I kind of made the joke, like we should reschedule, a joke, but not a joke, like we should reschedule this for when we think we're gonna have another snow day, because we already now are pushing it. February is a short month. We have the break. Now we're gonna have to have two SLT meetings scheduled at night, and it's just now, and then to try to work that out with everyone's schedule, including admin, including teachers, including us with all of our other meetings that we have, PTA meetings, the district meetings, safety meetings, all of these things. It's like impossible to even fit it in. And then we want to do our own parent involvement and attend, when we're invited into the school to actually be in our child's classroom. So it's just so much. I understand. I get
yeah,
it that you're saying it's state law, but I'm communicating that like it's
yeah, so
when
I
you
do know,
communicate with your,
I,
the people that are above you, then
I
tell them
do
this is
know
our
that,
concern.
that there have been some of the CECs pushing for, resolutions to go to the state to make some adjustments to part of that law. It was not necessarily around the virtual space as much as was around, like voting capacity, and such. But, listen, I will echo it up for sure. But, in general, if absent the idea of building closure, having it a day where there is in person space, buildings are open, that's part of the expectations. But like I said, I'll follow up.
Right. And I mean, we have a situation where the SLT meeting was moved, because to accommodate everybody's schedule last week, because there was other things going on in our building with the district,
Mhm.
family math night. We didn't want to overwhelm everyone last week. So now we're asking for something back, to accommodate us. Everyone had it on their calendars for last week. And then we switched it because Martin Luther King Day was Monday and family math night was at our school on Thursday. So now, for now it's a burden for parents, but last week nobody, we already had that scheduled and it got moved. So now it's like, from my perspective, okay, so why should I try to accommodate? I mean, it's just, there has to be a give and take. And that's where I think it falls short sometimes, where parents then start to get frustrated, like myself, because, this is not easy for us to all switch around our schedules.
Yeah, I
We are,
don't disagree. I don't
so.
disagree with what you guys do. I mean, you're not only on one committee, you're on many, and you assume quite a responsibility when you take on these roles as parents. And I can't tell you anything that will make you feel better in knowing that you're giving up a lot of that time. The only thing I can share is a space of appreciation for what you guys do, and knowing that you're spending time from away from your families to do it. So I do understand, and while I can't tell you yes in the short term, what I will tell you is that I will certainly look into any other options. But when it's something that is a rule that's not written by me, I can't just say go ahead and do that. In other words, so I will definitely follow up.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I am going to, Jenny, are you next? I'm not sure who's next.
Um,
Veronica, I'm not sure who's
Thank
next.
you. Thank you, Dr. Mike. You know what? Before I dive into NYC Kids Rise Safe for College program, I'm going to give the floor to our guest speakers, Christina and John, because they've been here since 6:30, so I don't want to keep them waiting. So I'll go after them. So is
Thank you
that
so
okay?
much, Johnny.
That's okay with Veronica and the rest of the President's Council? Okay. Yes. Christina and John?
Okay, thank you so much. Again, my name is Christina Sorrento. I am one of the district supervisors for District 25 schools. With me on this call is John Rizzo. He is also a District 25 supervisor. I'm going to go over a PowerPoint. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, just okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go over a few things. Okay, hold on, just want to. Okay, here we go. Okay, so today I'm going to be speaking about our school meal program overview. We're going to talk about the USCA National School Lunch Program meal requirements, as well as the food and nutrition education and the New York City Public Schools food quality standards and options. And also at the end, towards the end, we're going to talk about the OFNS food service careers. So us here at the Office of Food and Nutrition Services, our mission is to equitably serve New York City students with healthy and delicious meals that enhance their educational experience, as well as reflect their voices and nourish them into adulthood. Our program offers 35 different menus, from breakfast to lunch to snack to supper, as well as vegetarian meals and menus. Our menus are posted on our website, on the Department of Education website. We also have 470 recipes. Our recipes are standardized recipes that we really take pride in and ensure that what you're eating in Queens, at a school in Queens, is the same thing that's being eaten at Staten Island or Brooklyn. So our standardized recipes are created by our menu management department, and I'm going to speak a little bit more as we go along. In our 1,800 schools throughout the city, each day we feed 950,000 students. I'm sorry, out of 950,000 students citywide, we feed 900,000 meals per day between our breakfast, lunch, snack, and supper. So we are one of the largest meal service providers across the nation. Okay. Our we have what's called student taste testing. All of our food items on the menu are chosen by the students. Each week on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we have scheduled trips that we provide for students to come up to our lab at Long Island City headquarters, and they will be trying new products that our vendors try to convince us to place on the menu. However, if the students do not choose these items when they come to evaluate these items, they never get placed on the menu. So all of our menus items are chosen by the students. Again, we also go through different categories. We go from the elementary level as well as the middle school and high school, and ensure that each and every division all agree on the particular item. When they do come to have a taste testing at our lab, it usually takes about a good year that will incorporate it into our menu. Because once the approval of the students of the particular item, then it goes through the packaging and the pricing and the availability of the product. So from when a student comes up to our headquarters, they choose an item, and then a year later is usually when they see it on the menu. Now, when a school is interested in coming to one of these trips, it is like a school trip. Our organization will then provide them with the busing, and they will leave their school approximately at 9:30, and then they will return back to school at 1:30. They will have lunch provided to them, as well as the tasting of the certain products that the vendor gives us for that day to have the children taste. So if anybody's interested, we were supposed to have PS 130 go tomorrow, but however, because of the inclement weather, we're going to reschedule their trip. But each month, we have different schools from District 25 go up there. Yeah, and anybody that's interested, please, you go on to contact the principal, and the principal contacts the food service manager, and then they will allow me or Mr. Rizzo to nominate the school. Okay. On our next slide, we'd like to talk about our breakfast menu features. We offer each and every day seasonal fresh fruits. We try to avoid at all as possible canned fruit. So we really try to incorporate whatever seasonal fruit is available to us. All of our dairy items are local. Our whole grains, low fat, high fiber, and limited sugar items. We don't offer any type of fruit juice. And there are various types of breakfast that includes breakfast in the classroom, cafeteria service, and breakfast after the bell. So depending on the principal and what type of service that they will like to offer to the students, we are available for every type of service that I just mentioned. Depending on the size of the cafeteria, sometimes they may not allow all the students for breakfast on the hot service line. So a lot of your schools may have what's called a grab and go. So the child is actually receiving a cold meal and then eaten in the classroom. We have lunch menu features, our meatless Mondays, our plant-powered options on the move. We do not have any processed deli meats. We do not provide that to any of the students. All of our products are locally sourced. We have seasonal fresh fruits, as I mentioned, as well as vegetables daily. Our multiple menu options are available daily. So just in case the child does not like what is on the menu for the day, the special of the day, there's always the daily offerings, either peanut butter jelly or sun butter and jelly, if it's a peanut-free environment. We also have cheese sandwiches. We have hummus at every school every single day. Our menus, if you would like to see our menus, we have all of our menus also posted on our website. And then you can also identify which items are a vegan or a vegetarian item. We have halal and kosher options available. And then we have shared table and food donation programs that I'm going to speak about. So we also offer salad bars throughout the city. We have over 1,000 schools across the city that provide the opportunity for students to consume an unlimited amount of fresh vegetables and salads. This gives the opportunity for a child to expose themselves to maybe some particular vegetable or salad that they're not accustomed to eating. And it also gives that hungry child to encourage them to have more fruits and vegetables rather than a second meal. So our plant forward on the move, it continues the dedication of plant forward menus, our offering vegetarian and vegan items daily. Again, serving local seasonal fresh fruits and vegetables, reducing processed meats, and increasing our plant-based offerings. Our meat-based products will not be offered on these particular days. If you might remember, last year they used to offer this on a Friday. It used to be plant-based Fridays. However, we moved it across the middle of the week or each week on a different day so that the child doesn't go hungry on if this is their only meal on a Friday, they don't go hungry for the weekend. So we kind of changed that up this year, and that's why it's plant powered on the move. So we have it kind of different days throughout the week. And it's always, they'll always have a vegetarian meal available. On our next slide, we have this is in our second year that we have a nutrition collaborative committee. They meet quarterly with each school. Our schools this year that are participating is PS 24, PS 200, 214, 499, and John Bowne High School. What happens is that they are required to meet quarterly and to participate in tastings and also sampling, and also to give feedback of what they like, what they don't like. And the school receives a $6,000 grant, food education grant. Okay. And throughout a 5-year, they will be receiving another $10,000 program grant, so that the principals with these grants are able to have like a cooking class, or however the principal would like to spend the grant. It has to be towards food and education programs. Okay. It is from pre-K to 12 across the city. And these are the schools that are enrolled this year. So OFNS has the following standards in place. So we are a federally funded program, which therefore we do have to abide by the USDA rules and guidelines. We follow the National School Breakfast Program as well as the National School Lunch Program. So they have weekly meal patterns and nutrition standards based on the age and the grade of the students. The meal components are meat and meat alternate. They're grains, vegetables, fruit, and milk. That's the My Plate. And in this 5 components, it all based on the calories, the sodium, the total fat, and saturated for that grade level and age level. All right. So at the end of the day, each child is to receive 1 meal. And that's why we have the salad bar for the additional, if that hungry child is still hungry, we do encourage to take unlimited amount of salad and on the salad bar and help themselves to there. Recently, the New York City food standards have changed, but we have been in compliance since the standards have been updated. We were already in compliant before that. We have always been monitored with the sodium level and the artificial flavors. We do not have any additives or sweeteners or any chemical preservatives. Again, you could check all this information in the New York City DOE website. If you click under food, and then it will tell you menu. You can actually itemize exactly what you would like to see based on what we offer and what products we offer and what ingredients are in each product. So meal components from pre-K to 12th grade, breakfast must be offered fruits, grains, meat or meat alternate, and milk. Out of these components, the children must take a minimum of 3 items, 3 components, in order for us to get reimbursed by the federal government. At lunchtime, we offer 5 required components. We have the fruits, the grains, the vegetables, meat or meat alternate, and the milk. Out of these 5 components, the students must take a minimum of 3 components, one being the fruit or vegetable, okay, in order for us to be reimbursed. For breakfast, they must take the fruit, okay? So that's very important. So that's why sometimes you may hear, they say, well, why do we have to take the fruit? Or why do we have to take a vegetable? Why do we have to take all of the items, certain items? It's because we must offer the components, but they must take a minimum of 3, and out of the 3 must be a fruit or a vegetable. Okay, so that's where we get a little bit of a pushback sometimes, because they feel, we feel feel that we are waste, but unfortunately, in order for us to get reimbursed by the federal government, it must be required a minimum of 3 components, one being the fruit or the vegetable. So any items that the students do not want, we really encourage them to take the minimum of 3. And even if they say to us, oh, well, we don't want it, we encourage them to either give it to a friend or to place it on a shared table. A shared table is a table that is required, also part of the guidelines, to be placed somewhere in the cafeteria where students are able to go and collect some. If they're still hungry, that's where they can go and retrieve something from the shared table. But of course, for food safety reasons, it must be something that has to be sealed. So for instance, a banana that has is peeled, it has a skin, rather than a sliced apple or anything that's has eaten through a skin cannot be is not able to be placed on the shared table. But anything like a cereal or anything that's sealed can be placed on the shared table. So we do have what we call menu accommodations for students that have food allergies. There must be requirement of a 504 plan with the nurse's office in order for us to go ahead and make the accommodation. So if it's something that we can do at the point of service, we have no problem with that. So if a child, we offer pasta with sauce, with tomato sauce, and the child doesn't want the tomato sauce, we can do that at the point of service and give the child just plain pasta. However, if it's something more than that, if something they cannot eat the pasta because of gluten, that's another that's an accommodation that we really have to try to accommodate based on their 504 plan. Okay, so the first step is if the child does have a menu accommodation, we do need the 504 plan or the IEP, and then we will have a registered dietitian that can then meet with the school food service manager at the school and the student as well as the parent and discuss what options the child may have. We also have milk options. So if the child is lactose intolerant, we have soy milk as well as lactose-free milk. Again, they need to contact their school food service manager. So each school has a school food service manager that's usually in the white lab coat. And then we have a cook in charge. So if you don't see the school food service manager, then you really should contact the cook in charge, or I will give you our information, or you could share with parents our information, mine and Mr. Rizzo's information, and they can more than happy contact us. We do have chocolate flavored milk. So we are required to offer 3 different types of milk. So we offer chocolate fat-free, we have 1% low fat, and we have white fat-free. And that's each and every day at every school. Now, if at any point the principal requires not to serve chocolate milk, we just need a note on file so that when the state and federal government says why you're not offering 3 types of milk, we have a note from the principal based on the reasoning why not to offer the chocolate milk. We also have available on our website our menu nutrition information that I mentioned previously. Our items, the categories, and the total fat, saturated fat, sodium, total carbs, fiber, sugar, all that information, if any of the parents ever inquire, it's on our website, as well as this particular PowerPoint presentation, I have also shared with parent coordinators. So if any parents ever come up, or if you would like our school food service manager to present themselves at a PTA meeting, we'd be more than happy to present and explain this to parents as well. So currently we are going through a couple of changes at our nearby schools. This is called the Cafeteria Enhancement Experience. We have it already at Flushing High School, John Bound, and at Junior High 189. We are now in the process, actually last week, we just started this at IS 25. Starting tomorrow, we're going to Townsend Harris, and we are going to begin with this at 194 on February 2nd or 3rd. This is more for middle school and high schools, and it's to kind of give a pleasant, welcoming space for students to enjoy a nutritious meal. They actually go through a renovation of the cafeteria tables. It's more of a social gathering, more round tables, high top tables, booths. So it also gives the students a student choice. So you have a different display, as you could see in the pictures. Children, they help themselves. It's a self-serve. It's not anybody serving them. It's a self-serve, and the line moves quicker so that they can have a better experience, while they're eating, and they have more time to eat. But it's more of a newly renovated cafeteria style welcoming feeling. We're very excited about this, and the students are as well. I was at IS 25 last week, and they seem to really be enjoying this. So, and it gives more options on the menu.
Yeah, Christina, I will echo
Yeah.
that. I was at IS 25 also, and
Uh-huh.
the kids were really, really excited about the idea of being able to sit in a booth
Yeah.
and be able to get their own food. It was definitely a different lunch experience for sure, and the kids that I spoke to did echo that. So just throwing that there out there.
Good to hear. I'm happy to hear that. So right now, this is the three schools in the last week, this week and next week, and then hopefully by the end of June, 237, IS 237, junior high 185, and 250 will also be incorporating this particular cafeteria enhancement as well. So we also have plastic-free day lunch. Every 3 weeks, the New York City Public Schools Office of Energy and Sustainability, in partnership with the Cafeteria Culture, the Office of Food and Nutrition Services, we host a plastic-free lunch day, which require no utensils, finger foods, and it's to help reduce the waste and taking climate action. The next available dates that we have on the list here is for March 3rd and March 24th, being that February was kind of a short month. These are the next available dates that will be participating in the plastic-free lunch day. So, as I mentioned earlier about food service careers, this is where I would like to have your help, as well as Dr. Mike, if he's on the phone, on the call as well, and spread the word. We just were approved this afternoon. I have the flyers that I just received at 4:30 this afternoon. We are hiring within District 25. So if you know any parents that are interested in working in food service in our cafeteria, kitchens and cafeterias, please spread the word. We are having a hiring call for District 25 on Saturday, February 7th at PS 209. And that will be from 7:30 to 2. But I have the flyer. There is a registration that they need to sign up for. But please spread the word we really would like staff from the neighborhood because, right now we are getting staff from other districts, and it's causing a hardship, and the absentees, it really causes a hardship. So it's really important that we hire within our own district. So if please you spread to parents, it would be really greatly appreciated. I will and put in the flyer into this chat, and I will email Jenny as well the flyer, and anywhere you can post it. I know it's kind of short notice, but we did get the approval this afternoon, so which I'm really excited about, and we will be doing the interviews on February 7th between 7:30 and 2. And also, we have currently, as posted in the Principal's Digest, the Winter 2026, we have what's called Tell Us What You Want to Eat. So we encourage principals to kind of have the students, maybe a class or two, as well as parents, if they see these cards around the schools, to go into the barcode and also enter the survey, complete the questions, because we really do appreciate what the students want to eat, what they would like to see. And we really appreciate the feedback. We really, truly value the feedback. So if you hear about this, or I'm going to post this link as well for encouraging parents at your PTA meetings to definitely go and apply for the survey. It'd be really appreciated with the feedback. Here is our information. So again, my name is Christina Sorrento. This is my email. Along with me is John Rizzo. And please email our phone number. I can give you our phone number for our office. It is 929-267-5890. And that is our office, which is located at PS 209. Or you can email us with any questions, or please unmute yourself if you have any questions. Let me just get that flyer as well.
Your phone number, email address is also on today's PowerPoint.
Perfect. Yep. Okay, and let me just get that. Is there any questions? Anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm going to put this flyer. This is our flyer that we, for 25 and 26, they're going to be joining us as well. And then this is the scan here, how to make an appointment. And then these are the hours of our phone number in case anybody has any questions and to apply for an interview. If there aren't any questions, I thank you for listening and I appreciate any feedback and be helpful here to answer anybody's questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for this wealth of information. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime.
This is very
Anytime.
comprehensive.
And my pleasure. And at all, and any time, if you want any of our school food service managers or myself or Mr. Rizzo to attend any of the PTA meetings, we'd be more than happy to attend as well.
I think our kiddos will definitely enjoy having a trip to the food and nutrition services to taste us. That I
Absolutely.
think
Yeah.
it's a wonderful opportunity for many of them, especially because they like to have a say in what the foods that are being shared across the district and citywide. So thank you so much, Christina,
Thank you.
for joining us today. Everyone has Christine and John's contact information. We will now, if there are no further questions, we will thank our guests and we will now move on to the next item on our agenda. Jenny?
So again, we do have John's and Christina's contact information, the phone number and their email addresses. So please reach out to them whenever you feel like having them come into your PAPT meeting or any parent meeting that you feel like they might be fit in. Yep.
Thank you so much. We will now move to our next slide. So your executive board members for this year, it's my Veronica Piedraleone. I am the co-president of the President's Council. Rachel is our co-president of the President's Council. She is not here tonight. Myrna Pacheco, she's our treasurer, and Charlotte Chua, she's a recording secretary for the President's Council. Both of them are here in our meeting today. So thank you so much for being part of the President's Council. We will now have some updates from our Community Education Council. Eden?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I have a little bit of a illness going on, so my voice is not so strong. Just to give everyone a quick update, we did, in fact, go over our School Construction Authority choices at our last meeting. We heard from another student with our soapbox speeches, which we will continue doing throughout the remainder of the year. This coming month, we have a meeting coming up in the first week of February. So it is always the Wednesday. You can come in person or virtual. We have a very full agenda for this February. So just to give everyone a heads up there, we do have a presentation from Dr. Mike, which is going to be the state of the district. So that'll be happening along with some other discussions. We have a vacancy to fill in. So we will be interviewing some candidates at that meeting, as well as also filling in one of our executive board positions. We will have an election for that. So those are some little things that are going to be happening in the February meeting, but we hope that people will be there. And Veronica, I'm sure Jenny will be touching base with you in regards to coming to that meeting, whether virtual or in person, as we like to have President's Council's input on the candidates.
Thank you so much for the update, Eden. I look forward to the invitation.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're now going to move forward to the next item on our agenda.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Eden. Eden, for joining us. Are there any questions for Eden or any comments or any type of inquiries for the Community Education Council? No questions? Going once, twice, 3 times. Thank you so much, Eden, for joining us. Jenny, would you mind?
I'm gonna go over the Kids Rise program. So before we dive in, just curious, like to see how many parents on this call who have children in K-4 have activated these Save for College program from Kids Rise. Can you guys give me like a hand emoji or anything, just so I can see that you have activated it? Got one. Just one? Okay. So I guess tonight, you know what, it will be a great opportunity for me to present. So hopefully parents will be more comfortable activating the account. So let me pull up my slide. Okay. So Save for College program is now eligible. In this school year, is eligible for all kindergarten, first, second, third, and fourth grade students who are participating or attending DOE schools and some charter schools who are participating in this program. You might hear that some fifth grade students are also participating in this program, but that's only students in District 30, because in District 30, this pilot program started in 2021 to 22, and then this program expanded to the rest of the city. So what is the NYC Kids Rise? NYC Kids Rise is a nonprofit organization based in New York City who are working to help parents, schools, and communities to a way to help them save for college and career training together. So every kindergarten, first grade, second, third, and fourth grade students who are enrolled in a DOE school, or some charter schools who are participating, are automatically enrolled in this program unless the parents choose to opt out. And they do not look at any family income or any immigration status. And what Kids Rise are partner up with all DOE schools and some charter school, and the account they are giving to our eligible students starts with $100. And NY Kids Rise, they are the one who manage and own this account. So you do not need to report it to IRS. And they are also working with local organizations or businesses and neighbors to see if they can raise more funds for our scholarships through community scholarships. And research also shows that kids who knows they have a saving account for their college or have one are more likely to graduate or attend colleges. Let me get some water. So how does it work? So each child who attends DOE schools from K-4 are eligible unless you choose to opt out. Parents have two ways to opt out if you choose to. You can opt out by using the NYCSA account, and that's a form that the Pueblo County Secretary can give you for opting out. But you are always welcome to opt back in again in case you regret it later. Once you activate the account, you will see this initial $100 in the account. And again, this money is owned and managed by NYC Kids Rise. So you do not own this account. They manage this account and they make it grow according to the US stock market. And they will also be working with, local community organizations and business to see if they can contribute more money to this fund. So this account is not owned by the parent, or you cannot withdraw the money and you cannot deposit more money into this account. It is not owned by you. We do know that $100 is not a lot of money, but again, this is, to me, I see it as a free money that they are giving it to us to help our students for the future. This money can be used to such as tuition fees, equipment, textbooks, and so on. And this money will be ready to you once activated to your child once they graduate from high school and is ready for any higher educational programs, including culinary schools, massage therapy. So any vocational training programs will be eligible too. I just want to I just want to emphasize, so parents who activate this account, you can see this money. You can watch the money grow with your child, which is great, but you cannot make deposit or you cannot withdraw the money. So this money, again, is owned by NYC Kids Rise. They manage the money. They make sure they will make it grow according to the U.S. stock market, and they'll be working with local organizations and businesses to see if anyone will be, able to donate and then make this money, grow and then put more money into the scholarship for the students. So if you are receiving any financial aid or any financial aid, or this will not impact your your benefits because you do not need to report it. Again, when activating it, they would not ask for any sensitive or personal questions. And regardless your immigration status or your income, none of those needs to be shared. All they need is your child's date of birth, your zip code, and the child's OSIS number to activate this account. Once you activate this account, you can view the money. So by activating this account, that's the first step, and we call that building block 1. Once you activate this account, once you complete building block 1, they will give you an additional $25 in reward. So with the $100 and the $25, that $125. Last month, I was able to present this program for some schools. And one parent who who had a child in first grade was able to log in for the first time, and she already saw more than 125. I think that money has already grown to 150 something. So she was very excited. And we told her that, there's possibilities that this money can grow even more. You can go into NYC Kids Rise org to activate this account, or you can scan this QR code and it will give you the link to activate it. So by activating it, again, they will not be asking for any sensitive or any personal information. All you need to provide is your child's date of birth, your zip code, and the child's OSIS number, and parent coordinator can support you with the OSIS number if you do not have it. Again, zip code, date of birth, and the 9-digit OSIS number, the student's ID number. And once you log in, this is what you see. And then, of course, you will be using your email. If you have, your personal email, and then you will create a password to log in so you can view the money. And if you have more students in your household who are eligible for this program, there's a way you can add a sibling to the same account. So you do not need to create it multiple times. Just one account and you can add all the siblings. There's a way, if parent would like to save or add more money to a saving account that goes to the child's college purposes, there's a way you can do it. You can open your own college saving account that's managed and owned by you. And then you can link your own saving account with this scholarship account from NYC Kids Rise. If you link it, they will give you an additional $25. But building blocks 1 and 2 are only optional. So we as a DOE, we would like to make our parents aware of this, account, because they are our partners and they are working with the DOE to help students save, for their college and any future programs. And we don't want you to lose this, once you graduate, once you leave the DOE, you still own this program, but if you only completed building block 1 and you graduated and you left DOE for another state or another country, this program will still be yours. But if you do the building blocks 2 and 3 while you are not in the DOE school, you will not be receiving the rewards, the $25 rewards. Building blocks 3 is when you make a deposit to your saving accounts that you created and you manage. By just deposit of $5, you will be receiving your third reward, which is another $25. So if you complete building block 1, 2, and 3, the total amount that will be in the account is $175. But again, building blocks 2 and 3 are optional. You can do it whenever you're ready or feel comfortable. But right now, we just want our parents to be aware of this account and not lose the opportunity to even access Building Block 1. Building Block 1 means once you activated it, it's your account. It will be ready for your child once they graduate high school. And once they apply for any higher educational program, that money will be ready for your child. You can reach out to me directly for any further, concerns or questions, or you can also reach out to your parent coordinator. They will always be your point person, but I'm available to answer any questions that you might have or any concerns. And then you can also contact NYC Kids Rise directly. They do have a hotline and they do provide, service in different languages. So if you do not, if you need more information, you can feel free to reach out to either me, the school parent coordinator, or them directly. Does anyone have any questions about this program?
Any
So-
questions?
Oh, so to make awareness, one of the CEC parent, Stephanie Collado, has partnered up with me. We received a training from NYC Kids Rise. And with this training, we have the knowledge to, feel comfortable enough to go to visit schools and promote this for, schools who have parents who might need to, to become aware. So me and Stephanie are, traveling to schools to make this promotion. Or make awareness. Does any parents have any questions? Charlotte?
Yes, just a question. So when the child when graduates high school,
Mhm.
what do they have to do in order to receive those funds? And assuming it should be tax-free, correct? Because it's
Yes,
being federally funded in a sense or federally
because it's
backed.
the college saving account is tax-free. Yeah, all the growth you are
Right.
making or this account is making is tax-free.
So what's the process though for the child or the adult at the time in order to receive the funds? And are there criteria that's required in order to actually activate those funds, or is it just literally graduation of high school, here's your check?
No, we just need to make sure we activate it now. Once we activate it, this account is yours, but you do not manage it. You do not own it. You can view it. So they know they have your child's OSIS number. Once your child graduates from high school, they also would know which program you're enrolling your child into, and that money will be ready to be applied for that program. So our first step is to make sure we activate it.
Right. But so I'm thinking in the long-term part of it is
Mhm.
that, so if my child graduates high school, but then goes to a different state to go to college, would that still be eligible for them?
So any eligible programs, it will be applied into, and NYC Kids Rise give all parents who activated this account 20 years to claim the money. So at that time, your child will probably around 25. If you haven't claimed that money at that time because your child chooses not to participate in any higher educational programs, this money will go back to the pool and be distributed to the rest of the others for the other families and students.
Okay, but I mean, in the foreseeable future, we don't know what that criteria is for what is eligible.
I
for
agree.
college
They
or
they
something.
probably have a whole list of what would be eligible, but to me, I see that as a free money that we just need to activate, right? It doesn't belong to us right now. Once we activate it, it will come to you. It will come to you. This program is only 5 years old. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
it will expand, and next year I assume they will anticipate that this program will expand to 5th grade students, or it'll be from K to 5. District 30 is just 1 year in advance, so their program will be from K to 6. But it's keep expanding, and we just want parents to be aware of this program and this money, even though we do not own it, we do not, we can't manage it, but we can view it grow. And the purpose is, as long as a child knows they have this account, the research already shows that, they want to go to a college or graduate. That's just the research of their data.
Okay.
So that's the whole goal of creating this, account.
Okay. Thank you.
Hoping that our students will be,
Sure.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Mhm. And again, I know it's not a lot of money, but it's a start. It's a starting point. Anyone else have any questions? So hopefully with this presentation, everyone will be comfortable at least to activate the account because they do not ask for any, a lot of sensitive informations, and you do not report it to IRS. And again, regardless your immigration status, your income, they will not be asking for any of those informations. So all you need is your zip code, date of birth, child's date of birth, and your child's OSIS number.
Thank you so much, Jenny.
Okay, no problem. I'll be around if any questions, so just email me. Feel free to email me.
Thank you so much. We will now move to the PTA reminders and updates.
Let me share my
Jenny.
screen again. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So there are two, there is one very important reminder for all of us PTAs. We need to make sure that we submit our 2025-2026 interim financial report before January 31st. The report again covers the period of July 1st, 2025 to January 15, 2026. You must report all income and expenses from that period. The starting balance and the ending balance must match the bank statements for that time frame. The completed report must be signed by the treasurer and the president and must be submitted to the principal. The report must then be shared and reviewed with the general membership at the next monthly meeting. So you will be submitting your interim financial report in January. You will need to start sharing that report in the month of February. So the month of February is very important because that's when you will be sharing with your general membership. Are there any questions related to the interim financial report? Do we have any questions at this time? Would you like to see the form? I know that the next slide will show you the form of the report. If you have questions related to how to complete the report, I know that Jenny is available. I am available to answer questions. Rachel, every member of the President's Council Executive Board is available to answer questions. Again, this is the format. If you don't have access to the form, please reach out and we will be happy to share that report, the form for you to fill out. Again, you have to put your school name, the district, and you start with the beginning balance as well as like membership dues, and you list your income sources, and then the next page will list expenses. So you'll need to fill out expenses as well and be, you want to be as thorough as possible. And you only need to submit the income and expenses, the 2 pages of your report, to your principal. Again, you have here at the end the fund balance as of January 15, 2026. You add the income, you subtract the income from the expenses from the income, and that will give you the fund balance. You will see here on the bottom it says prepared by the president's signature, the treasurer's signature, and when it was distributed to the members, as well as when it was distributed to the principal. Are there any questions?
So just want to emphasize the signature and the date is very important because once I get a copy from all the parent coordinators and we do not see a signature or date, we will send it back to them. Okay, so please make sure it's signed and dated, and we keep a copy at the district level as well. Me and Louis, we file them in case we get audited, which happens last year.
Thank you very much. And if there are no questions, this is for the interim financial report. Another item that I would like to bring up to your attention is if there's anyone who's looking for funding or who is aware that their principal is submitting a Reso A funding application for your schools for this budget cycle for the Queensborough President's Office, his office is requiring for fiscal year 27 a letter of support from the PTA to go along with that Reso A application. I had the opportunity to have Catherine Zapata, the Director of Education, come to our PTA, and she shared some information about the Reso A process and like what that entails. And I'll be passing that information to Jenny so she can pass it along to everyone in case you are, the principal at your school is looking to request funding from the Queensborough President's Office for Reso A funding. Again, PTAs must submit a letter of support for that application.
Okay,
And with that,
Okay,
Yes.
pull up the slide again.
Mm-hmm. Um,
You want me to?
sure.
Okay, so PAPTA link, they provide a lot of knowledge to newly members of PAPTA, and they do offer office hour for every Thursday from 10 to 11. This is new because I don't recall seeing this in the past. So this is new, so please utilize this office hour if you guys have any questions about PAPTA. I have hard time switching to the next. Okay, so the next President's Council meeting will be on Monday, February 23rd. So please mark that in your calendar. As usual, I'll send out reminders 10 days before, to make sure everyone received the notice 10 days in advance. And I will share this flyer with all the principals and the parent coordinators, and then they will go ahead and send that to you.
Yes. Jenny, we have a question on the chat. Did you want the receipts and reimbursement forms for all the expenses or just the form to allow for the interim financial report?
Just the forms that we showed on the screens, the interim financial report, the 2 pages that shows all the year expenses, all the income, and then your signature and then date and sign, and then we'll keep a copy. Make sure you give the parent coordinator a copy. They must also submit all the information into SBLCI, which is a system that goes to Central.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions? I know that we are a little bit past our time. Are there any other questions related to today's presentations or any of the announcements that you heard from today's meeting? If going once, going twice, going 3 times, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Adjourn.
Do we have a second? Okay, thank you so much to all of you for giving us 30 more minutes of your time. We truly appreciate you, and I'll be sharing the information about Resolute to Jenny so she can disseminate it to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Take care.
everyone.
Have a great night.
Have a great
Thank
night,
you,
and
everybody.
everyone.
be safe
Thank you.
tomorrow. when you-
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, we go back to in-person learning again.
Thank you so much. Take care. Thank you, Jenny, for everything.
Thank you, Veronica, and thank you to President's Council team members.
Thank you. Take care, Jenny. Bye.
Bye-bye.